Komi Can't Communicate has its fair share of heartfelt moments and stunning yet entertaining situations. It's fun to watch the characters in the Komi-san universe react to the wacky events they end up in, and it's very heartwarming to watch Komi make more friends and ultimately grow ever so closer to Tadano. The anime and the manga also have their odd questions, specific details that raise questions in the community without answers. And since these questions don't have answers, there are many dark theories the internet has created that supposedly are supposed to make sense. And surprisingly, they kinda do. That's what we'll be talking about today, and this time, I'll just stick to making more Komi Can't Communicate content instead of shifting over to other anime that nobody cares about anymore. Alright everybody, it's dark theory time. Here's the reason why Komi can't communicate. This Reddit post is by Cold Practice 3107. Cold Practice says it's because she saw something in her childhood which traumatized her and caused her to not communicate properly. And it could have been anything she witnessed, a murder, or she walked into her parents doing naughty stuff. I leave it up to you all in the community to think about what happened. But that's just a theory. A dark theory. Anyways, so this is definitely an interesting theory, but it has some flaws that interfere with it. The biggest one I want to talk about here is that it's clearly stated in every manga installment and anime episode that Komi specifically has a communication disorder and it's nothing else. Reasonable Beach 775 and, as well as many others, tried to debunk this theory with that statement, but it doesn't really debunk it just by saying this. It could still very well be possible. She could have a communication disorder or extreme social anxiety for reasons unknown. However, the manga states that she has extreme social anxiety and not specifically a communication disorder, so it will likely never be answered as to why she's like this in the first place. But extreme social anxiety can be considered a communication disorder even though the manga and anime state it in a different way, so this theory is technically still valid and plausible. This theory comes from Azrael Locke on Reddit, who says that they can't help but feel like Najimi comes from a neglected and abusive household. This could be because Najimi always spends New Year's with the Tadano family. You'd think that Najimi would spend something like this with their actual family. And Najimi also has an ungodly amount of friends. This doesn't mean that having a lot of friends and connections is bad, rather at one point, Najimi decided to go to other people in order to fill an empty void of a heart that Najimi's family failed to fill. And finally, Najimi is a class clown. Stereotypical class clowns have a really fun personality and all, but their personality at home may be the complete opposite. The author of Komi Can't Communicate could be potentially dropping a sad and depressing background of Najimi that's contrast to Najimi's cheerful personality that even Tadano couldn't see through. In other words, a Najimi arc. There are people that try to contradict this argument with things like how if this were the case, she could be very unlikable, or Najimi could be a follower of the non-binary movement growing for people who don't want to be pinned down by cultural ideas of male and female, and being a part of that movement would probably suit them better. In my opinion, Najimi can still be likable because of this. I also don't understand how they could be using their abusive/neglective family as a way to get what they want. And they could be doing that, but it seems highly unlikely that's the reason why Najimi is so popular and kind. This next theory is another theory about Najimi and their home life, and for some reason, we never get to see what their home life is like. This becomes even stranger because not only is Najimi considered one of the 3 core characters of the series, but most of all the other characters' households and backstories are seen and developed in the manga. For example, Tadano's, Komi's, and partially Yamai's home lives. So why doesn't Najimi get the same kind of treatment like these characters do? Well, Najimi might not have a family and is an orphan that was never adopted. This could potentially explain why they are always seen going on family trips with Tadano, because it's a way for them to experience what it's like being a part of an average family, and literally, both Tadano and his parents are average. Najimi being friends with everyone could also be their way of making their own family. And Najimi does have a last name, but it's possible they already had that name or their parents died when they were very young. Every theory about Najimi could be 100% possible, but they could also be entirely false. And the truth about the characters could be ultimately disappointing. These theories would make sense and explain a lot about how Najimi got their extreme communication skills and why they use those skills so much. And you could say the why is answered simply by the more the merrier, but it gives Najimi more of a meaningful purpose to make more friends. I feel that Najimi being an orphan from the start is unlikely, rather their parents died from whatever cause. And as a result, Najimi became an orphan and has been on the run from being captured and put into a children's home. But that's just what I think. What do you think about these theories? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more of my migraine giving content I decide to make in the future. What should I make next? I figured an iceberg could be fun, but I'd like to know what you all want to see, and that's pretty much it. See ya.